All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Mindset Monday. We're going to be doing a lesson on 10 steps to mastery today. Before I go into this PowerPoint slide and break down the 10 different steps, I actually want to break down why this is so important. So, I'm going to try and make this quick because I can probably talk about this for hours, no joke. And I want to show you some articles about. I should probably make this a little smaller. I'll put a link for all these articles if you want to read these on your own. I'm just going to break through each one very briefly. I really don't want to spend more than like 5 minutes on this because I don't want to lose your attention if I'm being honest. But I want to show you why these skills are so important, why learning soft skills is so important. This is some of the stuff we'll be covering Mindset Monday. Mindset Monday, once again, two things about it. It's more of a holistic approach to show you and to open up your mind to the future and the world and be like, look at all these different perspectives. Like, look where the future is going to be in 10 years. What skills are you learning right now that's going to help you thrive to be successful in the future so you can live your dreams and to live your best life and to really set yourself up for a happy, successful life? And these are things that I feel like aren't really necessarily being taught, which is why I want to also teach it. But since there are like a million things to teach, I kind of want to sprinkle in a little bit of everything to kind of give you some sort of guidance where you can do a little more self-directed learning, which is why I say, hey, like here's a bunch of articles. If you want to read them, you can read them. But we will be going back to these. I'll show you the 10 steps to mastery because I know we talked about that last time, but we didn't really go into depth. And I want to do that today. But I also want to start off with why some of these skills are so important or why mastery and learning itself is so important. As you'll see, it comes up in almost every single study or research when people are asking, what are the most important skills you should be learning for the future? And that skill is your ability to learn, your ability to have that growth mindset and to have that mindset mastery. So, let me go through these. World Economic Forum. This is a very highly respected nonprofit organization. I believe it's nonprofit, but either way, they're highly respected. I believe in Switzerland. But anyway, they did some studies and some research. Once again, you can read all this on your own. I won't go too deep into it. Some of the basic cognitive skills, that's decreasing. Physical and manual skills, that's decreasing. Common sense would be technology. This stuff is just becoming less and less important, less relevant. And you look at technological skills and social emotional skills, higher cognitive skills, these are increasing a lot. So the three big skills here are higher cognitive. So this is just, complex information processing, things of that nature. But social emotional learning or quote unquote soft skills, the ability to continuous or to learn continuously. This is so important. So for example, when I know, like, let's say you don't really know what you want to do with your future and what you want to do with your career or job. Cool, great. That's totally irrelevant because the skills, the hard skills, as I'll show you in a couple of the other articles, that stuff is going to change all the time. These soft skills, like, for example, learning, that's never going to change. Like the ability to learn is always going to be important. The ability to have this emotional intelligence or these social skills is always going to be important. So if you learn these soft skills and you continue to develop them, no matter what you want to do with your life is going to be extremely helpful in the future. So that's kind of the point of Mindset Monday, is to help develop these skills. So no matter what it is that you want to do with your life, you're just going to be in a better position. And last example would be like, imagine you have two students, student A, student B, and they both have A pluses. They both have like the same resume. They both have the same success, went to the same college, got the same degree, and then they're both applying for this job. Who are they going to choose? Probably the person that's a little more charismatic, someone that has a better mindset, someone that has a better attitude. It's going to be all the soft skills that's going to differentiate you between the competition in the future. So let's move on. Another website or another study that they did. Who did this study? Udemy. So Udemy, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, it's like this big learning platform. You can see that growth mindset was one of the most important things to learn, right? Having a growth mindset. But even further on that path, I would say is mastery, having this mastery mindset because mastery is about continued growth, right? It's just about, okay, I've mastered the basic skills. Now, how can I continue to develop it? I'll use sports as an analogy all the time. Maybe I'll try to think of other analogies. But with sports, you can think about someone that's playing basketball and they may have mastered the three pointer, But now, how can they master it where they incorporate different dribbling skills? Can they come off the screen and without the ball and then catch it and then shoot, right? Catch and shoot, that's a skill. So this is about deliberate practice, and that's how you get to a level of mastery as well. And we'll actually talk about that in the slide. Little foreshadowing there. So you can see that all this stuff, emotional intelligence, that's incredibly important as well. Elon Musk, if you're a fan of him, you probably know that he's talked about this all the time. Like machine learning is going to really take over, and then the more jobs that kind of get replaced, it's the soft skills that are going to be super important. LinkedIn, they do a study basically every single year, and you can see some of the most demand hard skills and soft skills. So if you go down here, I don't know if I emphasize this or not. Soft skills are more about behavior and thinking, personal traits, and cognitive skills. And hard skills are more about like specialized knowledge and technical abilities, things of that nature. So, hard skills are important. They are, for sure. That's going to help you level up in your life in multiple areas. These are like you see sales, you see analytical reasoning, just like your ability to kind of take in all the data and the information, and you're able to analyze all the information that's coming at you, and you're able to make good decisions. You have good critical thinking skills. As you'll see, problem solving is a highly sought after skill in some of these other articles that I need to go through pretty quickly. I know I'm kind of rushing, but once again, there's so much here, and I don't want to waste your time. I want to be quick and to the point. But you can see through this, emotional intelligence is very important. Creativity, like when do you actually learn about persuasion? When do you learn about the art and the science of persuasion? That's so important. Why? Because your ability to actually persuade, let's say you are in an interview, and how can you communicate and influence the other person that you should be hired? Or why they should choose you over somebody else. That's going to be an important skill. And if you can do that, you may not be as qualified, but you can convince them that you're the best person for the job. And you can use persuasion in so many other contexts. Once again, they identified some top skills here. I just want to emphasize there's a theme here that active learning and learning strategies is the number 2 soft skill that will be in demand for 2022. Emotional intelligence and leadership abilities will keep being sought after. So once again, you can see learning. I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, I'm being repetitive, but there's a reason why I really want it to sink in. And even if you're like, okay, we get it. Yeah, but once again, I just want to make sure that we have that kind of mindset. And I think this is just interesting stuff anyway. I'm a curious person. I love to learn, and I love to share things that I learn. So hopefully you find this as interesting as I do. We'll go through a couple other quick articles. Future work, once again, top soft skills, learnability, right? I believe this was done through LinkedIn. I think this was in 2018 where they got from the World Economic Forum. I remember seeing this article somewhere else. Was it here? Was here. But learnability is the most important skill to succeed in the future. Your ability to actually learn. Embracing upskilling and learnability is becoming crucial, not just for companies, but also for individuals who face losing their job to automation in the near future, right? So we couldn't have predicted YouTube would be a full-time job 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, if you know my story, even though I didn't do anything on YouTube, my YouTube channel sucks, and I don't put a lot of time and effort into it, and I can totally make that channel better. When I was in high school, I wanted to go like full time in YouTube, but I didn't really even know what that meant. But I just knew I saw this opportunity. Like, I feel like YouTube's a big thing, like the internet. And this was back in 2008 when I graduated high school, when YouTube first came out. But everyone was like, oh, that's stupid. And look, boom, it blew up, just like Bitcoin. I was like, I feel like Bitcoin is going to be huge. Did a ton of research, read a million articles. I'm like, everyone else is big on this Bitcoin train. I invested a little bit into Bitcoin, but if I had more money, I would have invested so much more money in Bitcoin. So learn from my mistakes and trust your intuition. Continue to learn and continue to really identify what's important in the future. As you can see, the ability to master your mind, the ability to master learning. Once again, we'll get into this in a moment. That will really help you. Moving along here, top 7 skills over here, leadership skills. I think, where was it down here? Flexibility, adaptability. So your ability to really adapt to these times is going to be important too. That's basically growth mindset. And I don't even know why I have this one up here. Oh, I know why. Because Penn State. So Penn State is a research institute where they get billions of dollars of investments. Same thing with Yale University, Harvard University, all these big schools. that are very like prestigious and everything, they're getting so much funding where they do research. Like if you go to Yale University, they have a center for emotional intelligence. So think about one of the most intelligent schools and universities out there dedicated an entire section of their school to emotional intelligence. So even the schools are starting to realize that this is really important. So Penn State's engineering department even offers team building skills, communication skills, and leadership strategies. So when you're in college, whether you go to college or you don't, whatever, it doesn't matter. You should join Mindset University, even though I'm like a bootleg college for right now. What, by the way, Mindset University, what I'm trying to do is to build a school around soft skills and personal development. Um, it's a big mission, and I'm trying to build schools all around the world. It's a big, big dream, but I'm working towards it. Anyway, let's see. By 2030, once again, just to kind of emphasize the main theme here, entrepreneurial approach. So this idea that you can kind of think creatively and solve problems, and continuous learning. Where is it right here? I think there's a sentence. Absorbing and applying the information at the right time will be the most valuable personnel for the future workforce. Meaning that, like what they're talking about it here, like you may have like some goggles on, like artificial intelligence, and you have may have these like weird little graphics in your eyes and your field of vision that are telling you how to navigate certain things, and your ability to just have that mindset could be super important. All right, I'm going to move on to the actual lesson in 60 seconds. We'll see. But once again, learn to learn throughout their life. That's important. I love reading like all these studies and going into this stuff. I find it fascinating. It is my number one skill. So I don't know if you ever taken the character assessment. They do this in Pursuit of Happiness, which is a great class. You learn about positive psychology and how to like happiness is not something you chase. It's really the path itself, just living every day, being grateful and happy and all that stuff. But love of learning. So this is an actual character trait that we all have. Creativity. This is a skill that we all have. So even if you think, oh, I'm not very creative, well, that's just because you probably haven't spent time developing that skill. Or you can be like, I am super creative. And that means lean into that strength more. You should really lean into your strengths. Psychology has proven that's been helpful. Like if you go to my account here, I did this assessment like a year or two ago. Love of learning was my number one thing. Makes sense. What's my entire business model built around? I continue to learn and learn and learn, and then I try to teach everything that I learned. So I try to really use my curiosity and my love of learning and my emotional intelligence and all of these soft skills I've learned to help you learn and grow. And that's part of mastery, teaching other people. So real quick, before we move on, I know I said that like 5 times already. I can feel myself rushing. You probably feel free to give me advice too. If you want me to slow down, I can, but I don't want to ramble on for too long. Because I know sometimes watching a video can get kind of boring if there's not like cool animations because we're so used to like fancy YouTube videos. But if you kind of see what like YouTube, I mean, what education will look like in 20 years, there's different scenarios here. Once again, I'm not going to go through this. I'll link it if you want to read it, but learning as you go. That's going to be something where they even talk about how school may even disappear altogether. Like we may not even really have what you see school as right now may no longer be a thing. And the reason why that's relevant to you and important is because a lot of the stuff that you're learning right now may not just be relevant for your future. And don't get so caught up and so like quote unquote don't like get so emotionally attached to grades, even though that's important, but don't get so attached to school itself because personally speaking, I don't think that we're really learning the most important things. So even if you're not like a perfect student or you don't have a perfect path in education or you don't go to like the fanciest college, don't compare yourself to other people because most often or more often than not, you're going to have to just learn new skills anyway. So where you go to college is almost irrelevant because once you get that degree, half the time that degree is kind of pointless because it's just not the skills aren't relevant anymore. Like they're outdated. So do I have one more thing over here? I don't know. Anyway, let me minimize this. Let's get into the lesson. Okay. All right. Step number one when you're trying to learn mastery. Remember, we talked about it's learn, grow, teach. When you want to get to mastery, it's about learning, and then you want to grow and improve, and then teach. This is kind of a combination of all of that. I'm not saying that these 10 steps to mastery are like the end all be all. Like when it comes to mastery, there's multiple ways you can really frame this and look about this. Once again, going back to mental models, this is really just one framework. There are other frameworks when it comes to mastery and when it comes to learning. So don't take this as the end all be all, but these are 10 really helpful steps that will help you on the path of mastery. And number one is oh, determine what you want to learn. It sounds basic, it sounds simple, but really identify what are some of the skills that you want to learn. To give a personal example, I want to learn. Well, when I was rapping, when I was learning how to rap, I wanted to learn how to rap fast. So I would learn like that was the skill that I identified. Okay, I want to be able to rap fast, like Eminem or Joyner Lucas or Logic or any of these fast rappers, futuristic. Like I want to be able to rap fast. Like if you want to get it, then you got to get a better, really get ahead of it. You want to be irrelevant, I'm gripping it and ripping it. No, stop. But like I wanted to learn how to do that, so I identified the skill. So think about that. And then two, don't use SMART goals. These goals are overrated because for a couple of reasons. But one, you really want to dream super, super big. And not to be condescending in any way, it's not supposed to come off this way. But setting SMART goals is kind of for like small thinkers. Or I can rephrase that to sound better, where it's more like short term thinking. SMART goals are like, okay, how can I take action steps that are measurable and timely and realistic right now? Like specific goals, like I want to, work out 3 days a week. That's very specific, right? But when it comes to mastery, I think about big goals. For me, for rapping, once again, I've I've rapped my whole life to an extent, and it's something I'm always going to do because it's a passion of mine. I love the art and the creativity of making music. So I don't need to be famous or anything with my music because that's not my goal. My goal isn't to set a smart goal where like I get a million followers, I get a million like songs downloaded or downloads on my song. That's not the goal. The goal is to have an impact with my music. And the goal is to continue to rap for the rest of my life. So when I die and my legacy is over, people will be like, damn, Mikey B was rapping until he was like 85 years old. He was like walking around with a cane. He's like, hey kids, I'm going to teach you how to rap today. Like, I just want to be that old man that's like still rapping. And like, I kind of think that enhances my message of what it means to live your dreams and what it means to see life as a journey and to love what you do. And all these different cliches that I talk about and I teach and I represent, that's the point. So for me, I don't have specific SMART goals unless it's very short term, but start off with setting really big, ambitious goals. What is it that you really want to accomplish? What is the skill that you want to learn? And what's kind of that journey in itself? So transitioning, attach emotion to the journey. For me with rapping, and once again, I'm sharing personal stuff because it's easier to talk about when I speak from a personal experience rather than like making up something. But I attach inspiration, I attach enthusiasm, I attach joy and happiness and fulfillment. When I go on stage and I'm rapping in front of a bunch of people, yeah, I'm nervous and I'm like, because I'm so introverted and like rapping in front of a bunch of people, hundreds of people, but at the same time, I get so excited. Like I remember the first time I won a rap contest. It was the crazy. I got the whole crowd pumped up and like I got everybody engaged. It was like a motivational, inspirational rap song. And most people be like, "Yo, that's kind of corny." But a lot of people that were there, they're just other rappers or other musicians or just other people that had big dreams too. So they resonated with my message. Like people would come up to me after and like dab me up, be like, yo, bro, like that was dope. Like, like big gangster thugs or whatever. They'd look at me and be like, yo, that was tough. Yo, I F with that. I F with that. I'm like, yo, dude, I got like some dads from some cool kids, with chains on. But the emotion that I attached to the journey was I want to feel really good about this. And I started to really visualize those emotions and also the emotions that I want other people to feel. I was very intentional about that. I want to inspire these people. If you even see some of my, I don't have a lot of videos of me like rapping and stuff, but like sometimes when I go on stage, I'm in front of people, I'll even tell them like, hey, like if I can inspire one person, I just really want to motivate you to live your dreams. And because I put that out there, some people resonate that, oh, he's doing this because he wants to inspire me and motivate me. So they kind of, attaching emotion to the journey will help you stay committed. That's really the point. It'll help you stay committed because you may have failures. You know, you may not see the massive success or meet the expectations that you want in your life or when you're learning that goal, because mastery is hard. It's a challenge. You're going to have to go through some perseverance and adversity and obstacles, and you got to have the emotion is going to push you forward, and emotion drives actions as well. As you can say, motivation, it's motive, right? You're in motion, so you generate those emotions. Number 4, identify key skills to master. Now, so first you want to identify, okay, what do you want to learn, right? I want to learn how to rap, or maybe it was, I guess I should rephrase that beginning statement, which was the key skills was to learn how to rap faster, but also there's other elements. How can I rap? I started changing some of my songs, and I started writing some songs on how I can really motivate the crowd and get the crowd involved. So, for example, when I started thinking, okay, if I'm going to be performing live, how can I keep the crowd engaged? Like rapping really fast is cool, I guess, for some people, but the audience is just going to stand there and be like, okay, it's just like another white rapper that can rap fast, like trying to be like Eminem. Like they're not going to be inspired by that. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, he's just another like copycat kind of person. So I was really trying to think, how can I be different in my rap skills? And I wanted to be enthusiastic and motivational. And to do that, I want to engage with them. So I was thinking about the hook. How can I write a better hook? Because I wasn't really good at writing hooks. So for one of my songs, like my jam, it was like, um, I can't even remember the lyrics. It was like, and this is my jam, like A, and I tell the crowd anytime I say A, you say A, so they say A. I'm like, I don't give a damn, I don't give a damn, I want to go ham. A, no, I suck right now. I can't. I have to like be in the moment and like really feel it out. But anyway, the crowd got hyped, and because I was able to hype them up, I think that had um the impact that I want to make. Next, we got visualize success and failure. So, this is really important. Don't underestimate how important this is. Once again, this is about mastery. Okay. So, really visualize what success will look like for you, but also failure. And the reason why it's actually important to recognize failure and predict it is because you set yourself up to be resilient. Like, how are you going to overcome that failure? Let's say you mess up. Let's say I'm on stage and I forget my lyrics and I mess up. I remember one time I performed in front of a school and I got paid for this gig. It was one of my first gigs I got paid for. It was really exciting. And I always mess up when I go on stage. Like I just always forget lyrics, or I just mess up, or I can't like hear the instrumental well enough. And then like I lose track where I am. And sometimes I get insecure about that. I'm like, God, I always mess up? But I started to visualize, okay, what would that look like and how would my best self overcome that obstacle and that challenge? And for me, it was like, I'll kind of make fun of myself and use that as a learning opportunity or an inspirational moment where I can teach to the audience, like, hey, listen, you know what? Like, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. But I remember just saying to the audience, like, you know, sometimes we mess up, we're not perfect. And then everyone was like giving me a round of applause, like, no, you're doing great, keep going. Like everyone was super encouraging. So I use that as a way to kind of inspire, but also I predicted how I can overcome that. Rather than being super insecure in the moment, I kind of just made fun of myself and used it as a vulnerable moment to inspire my audience and connect with them even more, to be relatable. And by the way, they do this a lot in sports visualization. I remember the Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll. He brought in, I think his name is Michael Stelzner or something, but he's a sports psychologist, and he works. Pete Carroll, they worked with the team, and they started visualizing and meditating. I believe it was Doug Baldwin. Like you can probably look this up if you like Google it. I'm pretty sure Doug Baldwin. He said like he visualized himself catching like this end zone or this like long touchdown, and then in the game he actually had that moment because he visualized it. They've done studies. If you look at the book, once again, you want to look it up. I think it's called Deliberate Practice, but they I feel like it's something else. Whatever. I'll put a little picture here. I'll edit it. And in this book, they talk about the different studies where they did free throws and they broke it up into different groups. Where the group that was visualizing or I mean, they weren't even shooting. They just visualized making free throws versus the people that actually shot the free throws. And then the people that didn't do anything, the people that visualized made the same amount of free throws on a percentage basis compared to the people that were actually practicing. So visualizing is just as important and it equals the same amount of success when even compared to the people that are physically practicing shooting basketball shots. So visualizing your success and your learning whatever skill that is really important for mastery. Next, schedule time to work with experts. If you really want to be a master at something, find people that are super successful in what it is that you're doing and learn from them. Now, I have not been able to do this with rap necessarily, like in a one-on-one basis, but even if you can't do this, find books, find mentors online, like study people. Like I study rappers. Like I listen to rappers. For example, like NF. I love NF, so I study his music. I love Logic. I study Logic in his music. I like people like Eminem. Not I don't listen to him as much now as I used to when I was growing up, but like I studied him and I try to like mimic their work. Like I'll look at their lyrics and I'll try to. And this is a proven technique. So many rappers talk about this. They would listen to the lyrics or read the lyrics as they're listening to the song, and they try to rap along with it, and that you're developing the skill. A lot of writers and authors, they do this too. They find authors that they want to emulate, and they write just like them. Like they'll look at their blog, they'll look at their books, and they practice writing exactly what the other author is doing, just so they can feel the emotion and they can get into that mindset of what that writer is writing like. So they start to develop that style. And they don't copy them in terms of like, okay, they're going to write a book exactly the same way. It's practice. They're just doing it to practice, and then when they write their own book, they have a similar style. It's a proven technique to work. So schedule time to work with experts in any kind of shape, form, or capacity that you can. Next is measure your progress. This is super important because if you're not actually tracking this stuff, it's going to be a couple of downsides. One, you're going to lack motivation over time and you're not going to be able to persevere as much. Research shows that you actually gain a lot of motivation and dopamine by celebrating those micro wins along the way. So, literally, just me recording this video, when I'm done, I'm going to celebrate this. I'm like, you know what? I was productive. I recorded a video. I easily could not have recorded this video and just been like, oh, we have a day off. But, like, no, I want to provide value to my students and I want to make sure that they get something out of this. Even if they don't watch the whole video, I can't predict if you watch the whole video or not. If you're still with me, thank you. But, like, I'm going to do this for my students, for the Mindset Monday Club, and I'm going to celebrate this afterwards, probably by like eating a snack. I don't know. I'll probably eat some guacamole and chips or something. I don't know, but I'll celebrate because I'm feeling kind of hungry. But that will give me more motivation to come back to the computer because I have some other videos that I want to record for my coaching program. So that's how you increase productivity. This is not a productivity thing, but quick little tip: taking a break every 50 minutes, which is kind of what you already do in school, right? The bells are broken up that way, and it was designed strategically for that. Around 50 minutes is that peak. Then you need about like a 10 or 15-minute break to really recharge, and then you go back to learning. This is what the most productive people, high performers do. They schedule the blocks of time and they take frequent breaks. So anyway, going back to measuring your progress, for rapping, for example, the way that I measure it is just like I listen to my old music and I see how far I've come. And I'm like, okay, I'm making progress. How can I get better at this? And I try to track, there's different ways that you would track it. I do it through tons of self-reflection. I do it through tons of practice, and then I'll record a rough draft of a song, and then I keep recording and recording and recording, and I kind of watch that growth. I'm like, wow, I'm making progress. And that gives you more motivation, and you can learn what you need to tweak. You know what I mean? So last point to put a bow on this: if I'm walking my dog and I'm listening to some of my own rap music, like let's say I'm working on a song and I have the rough draft, I'll be listening to, okay, what lines can I do better? Where is my flow off? Like, what is the message good? And then I just analyze what I need to do to make it better. Next, learn and practice with others. This is very similar to scheduling time with experts, but you want to actually practice with other people. So, an example for rapping would be freestyling. I don't do this as much anymore. So, rapping isn't necessarily the best thing for this example, but back when I was in college, I used to freestyle rap when I go to like parties and stuff with all these other people. Anytime there was a social gathering, I'll be like, yo, I can't wait to like spit some freestyles today. Be like, hey, yo, it's Mike. No, oh man, I can't even rap. I feel embarrassed. But whatever, I'll do. I'll spill a couple bars. What do I got here? Let's see what I got. Hey yo, it's Mikey B. We're teaching a Mindset Monday lesson with Mindset University. 10 steps to mastery. Schedule time to work with experts. You know that I'm the best on the mic and I always bring the heat. So you know that I gotta flirt with the other girls down the street. Oh no, here we go. Mikey B might get in trouble for not measuring my progress. I digress with a message that I'm trying to say today when I spit the flame. I just spit this freestyle and it kind of sucks. So I'm going to edit that out. I don't want to make a fool of myself. Anyway, spinning freestyles with other people, it's good. So find ways. Let's say, for example, you want to practice basketball. You want to get better at a sport. Practice with your teammates. You want to get better at school, academics. Find a couple kids or classmates that you can work with and work together. Next, continue setting bigger goals. This is really important. Once you have like a general idea of what you want to accomplish, set bigger and more ambitious goals. For example, with my rapping, I set a goal to drop an album, the Live Your Dreams album. It's not that special. It's not that great. I even know that myself. I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that kind of sucks. But I'm just happy that I actually dropped an album. You know what I mean? I don't care if it was good or not. It was just something I needed to do. And now I have bigger goals where I have this idea for a rap album, and I actually have a bunch of songs I'm working on. They're not completely done, but it's called The Journey, or I may call it Just for Fun. I'm not sure which one is going to be called yet, but all the rap songs are going to have a message behind it, and it's almost like a mini movie. So I'm going to be starting, for example, like at the bottom of the mountain here, and then each music video is going to be a different like storyline of me actually getting to the top of the mountain. And for example, like the song at the very end is called Victory. So the song is about victory, achieving your goals, success. One of the first songs is called The Journey, where I kind of just talk. I set like the framework of what you're about to expect on the album. And then there's like songs in the middle that are, maybe about love and relationships, or they're about utilizing my strengths and like becoming better, or there's other things about, inspiring others. I have different messages and themes, but it's telling a story plot kind of about my life and where I'm going. But the music videos, when I work with my videographer, it's going to be through the mountains, and each video is going to be me on the journey. So that's like a big goal for me, right? That's going to be me mastering my craft of making music and getting better with my storytelling abilities with my music. So think that way for yourself. What is the goal that you want? What are some bigger ambitions that you can really set? Another thing too, when it comes to rapping, and not to, go too deep into, hey, me talking about myself, but just to share some personal insights. I feel like that's a good way to help you understand my mindset of what I'm talking about, where I see myself doing these Mindset Monday lessons as like a rap show. Like imagine I'm coming on stage and you got like flames and you got like these lights in the fog, and it's like, hey, now go live your dreams, go live your dreams. You gotta believe, you can achieve whatever you dream, whatever you dream. And like the crowd is like repeating the words, and like we're all turning up, and then it's just like a cool upbeat thing just to get the vibe going, And then and then it's like, okay, here we go. So today's lesson's 10 steps to mastery. Step number 1. And then like we kind of go into it. And I see it as like this big show of incorporating music and then getting other people involved, right? Like getting Logic to come on, and he's collaborating with Mindset Monday. By the way, quick story about Logic. I once met him I went to his concert, and I got like the VIP ticket so you can see him like meet and greet kind of style. And I remember going into this, my mindset was, I want to get Logic to come to my school and do a Mindset Monday lesson with my students. And I was like, I'm going to make this happen. Like I was visualizing this, and I visualized what would go wrong. How can I handle this? I learned, I've studied things like influence and persuasion. So I was really confident going into this. Like if I get to talk to Logic, I bet I can get him to come to my school. Like I'm pretty confident I can do this. And my strategy was, just to relate to him and share with him my personal philosophy on life and how it's so similar to everything that he talks about, like peace, love, positivity. And I remember he's doing a Q&A session, and everyone's in the audience, and everyone's like raising their hand, and he's calling on people, and I want to stand out. So I stood in the back of the crowd, and I'm just like really trying to connect with him on like this wavelength of energy, right? And he was like, "All right, I'll do one more question." I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't let this opportunity go by," because I had my hand up a little bit, but he like a couple times I raised my hand, but he just wasn't even looking at me. So he said, "Okay, I'm going to take one more question." I stared him dead down. I raised my hand. I was like, "Come on, Logic. Come on, Logic, pick on me. Come on, man. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on." I feel the vibe, feel the vibe. And I'm just like talking to myself, and he's like, "Yeah, you in the back." And he's like, "Damn, you look jacked." And it was kind of weird. Like and I'm not even jacked. Like I'm like a normal skinny kind of dude. But he gave me like a compliment, and like we laughed, and then I joked. I was like, "Hey, you're pretty jacked too." It's just like some weird awkward thing. And I was like, "Okay." Anyway, um, it was very awkward, like that moment right there. And then I was like, "Hey, Logic, like, I'm a huge fan. I'm part of the Rat Pack gang. I've been listening to you forever. I'm a teacher. I'm a middle school teacher. I teach math." And he's like, "Okay, wait, hold up, hold up. Everybody give this guy a round of applause." And like everyone started cheering, like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, thank you, thank you." It's like the fact that like you working with like middle school kids. I remember myself. I was such a knucklehead back then. So much respect to you. Like, thank you. And I was like, something I do is called Mindset Monday. Every Monday, I try to teach my kids about life. I try to inspire them to live their dreams and be their best selves. And I just try to teach them whatever I can to help them believe in themselves. And I really like F with your message, peace, love, positivity. I'm all about that. And I would love if you were to come to my school and do like a Mindset Monday lesson with my students and really meet my class and the kids. And we can maybe like, I'm also a rapper, so maybe we can do like a little freestyle together or something. And he was like, "I love this. Hell yeah." And he's like, come over here, talk to my manager. So I went over to his manager, got his email, we started talking, and we sent like the next couple days, whenever it was, because I think it was on a weekend. I think I saw him on a Friday, then the next day or next couple days on Monday, I sent the email, and this was back in May, and we started communicating. He was going on tour with G Easy at the time, so he's like, "Okay, maybe next year." And then I left the school, so I didn't have his email anymore, so I lost touch, and it just never manifested. I was like, "Oh no!" But like, anyway, the point being is like setting these bigger goals. Like I have these dreams and ambitions of working like really successful people, because I know that my students would be more inspired. Like imagine Logic comes into the classroom and everyone knows who Logic is. And then Logic is like, "Live your dreams." Everyone's going to be like, "Wow. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah." But like if I come into the classroom, I'm like, "Live your dreams." Like some kids may be like, "Okay, yeah, whatever." Right? Just because maybe that status isn't there. And I know from a psychological perspective, like that matters, right? Like if Jay-Z, I mean, not once again, Logic, if he comes into the classroom and does like a little motivational talk, that might land better with people, which is one reason why I want to take my life to the highest levels of success and influence as possible, because I know that I can use that to help inspire more people. So I see that as like collaborating and by setting bigger goals. Anyway, I digress a little bit. Last point. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to this one. As you know, teach others what you have learned. This is me even leading by example. I don't really teach rap. So, from the perspective of rap music, I don't really teach rap to a lot of people. Although I have had students ask me, "How do you rap?" And I've worked with them and I taught them. But whatever it is, if you really want to master that skill, if you know how to teach it to other people, it just deepens your own understanding. So, for example, this whole lesson, I'm going to watch this and I'll probably edit it in my computer. I'll look back on it and I'll be like, probably could have done a better job here, here. Not in like a super like self critiquing negative kind of way, but in a growth mindset kind of way. We're like, you know what? I'm proud of the fact that I taught this information is very valuable. And once again, I always use this quote: "Common sense isn't always common practice." So actually implement this stuff. And once again, this is a mental model and a mental framework that you can use for any area in your life. And so I'm proud of the fact that I taught this, but at the same time, I can look at it and be like, you know what? I can definitely improve. So the more that I teach, the better that I'll get. And I think that is the ultimate stage of mastery. So whatever it is, like even if you're not at a position where you feel like you're a quote unquote master, you can still teach other people stuff that you're learning, and that's going to enhance your learning. You know what I mean? Like even though you have these 10 steps, oh, I can't go back through all of them. Oh, I guess I could. But like yeah, you have these 10 steps, right? But you can still kind of hop around from thing to thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to go through these 10 steps in every single, like, teach other people before you measure your progress. You know what I mean? Like you ideally want to be able to do both. You want to measure your progress consistently. You want to consistently do all of this stuff on a regular basis, but you're able to kind of piece things together, if that makes sense. And I think you get the point. So, whew, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found that valuable. Please let me know if you did, what you liked, maybe what you didn't like, if you want me to keep it shorter, if you want me to take it slower and maybe go deeper into some of these things. I don't know. Give me feedback. Your feedback is, as Gary Vee would say, my oxygen, because that helps me grow and improve. I appreciate it. Another thing in here is when we talked about schedule time with experts, to work with experts, seeking feedback is incredibly important as well. Always getting feedback on how you can improve and not getting too emotionally attached to that feedback is really important. So, have a happy Mindset Monday. I'll see you soon. I'll see you next week. Peace out.